Dear content creator, let's keep it real. Keeping up with social media updates feels like a full-time job in itself. Every platform is rolling out new tools and features, claiming to want to help creators to grow, monetize, and streamline their workflow. But if we're being honest, they're really just trying to keep our attention, as they should. So in this episode, we are going to be breaking down some of these features that have rolled out in 2025 that you should keep up with, and you can then decide if they are worth your time. Let's dive in. What up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Dear Content Creator, y'all. I am your host, Kairos Maggie. I don't know if I had introduced myself in our last episode. We came back with season 2. Our last episode, we talked about juggling a 9 to 5 and content creation. What is wrong with my speech today? It's been a long day, y'all. But yes, y'all, I spoke about my own experience with doing this myself. I am currently juggling a full-time job and doing content creation at the same time. I'm pretty much doing content creation in like a full-time capacity, you could say. And so if you want to check out that episode, hear about some of the stuff we talked about, then go on ahead and listen to it. But for this episode, I thought it would be great to actually talk about some of the latest features that have been rolled out across the different social media platforms. But for today, we're going to be breaking down 3 main platforms in particular. I'm not going to go through all of the features because there are a lot. I'm going to talk about the main ones. If you want the breakdown of like all of the platforms and the features, please subscribe to my newsletter. You can find it in the show notes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, find it in the description box. Sign up for my newsletter and I will send out more comprehensive breakdowns for those other features that might not get covered in this episode. But yes, y'all. Y'all, social media. As creators, it is a love-hate relationship for sure, because on the one hand, the possibilities that social media itself has given a lot of us the freedom to create and also be able to build a community, monetize, get opportunities from our social media presence. Like, the opportunities can be endless for many of us, right? And so when you're trying to balance that with like all of these new changes that keep coming up, and then you have to be keeping up with them and implementing them or finding ways to implement them, sometimes it kind of feels like y'all platforms are doing too much. And my platform in particular that I love to drag, it's really a love-hate relationship, is Instagram, y'all. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that on my stories, I can be ranting from time to time about different updates that they're doing. Sometimes it's stuff that don't even make any sense, but here we are to discuss them. And if you find that they make sense for you, by all means, use them. I am just the messenger. So without wasting any time, y'all, let us get started in talking about Instagram features for 2025. So some of these features were probably rolled out towards the end of 2024, but have trickled in for maybe more creators in 2025. So here's the thing you need to know about a lot of these platforms. Most of the times when they're rolling out new features, they don't test it with everyone at the same time. They will slowly roll it out among certain creators that they select, and they select specific countries as well, and then they start to test it in other countries before they decide to roll it out to everybody else to utilize. So before we get into some of those features though, we have a couple updates that y'all should be aware of, because it might give you an idea of some of the weirdness that we have been feeling lately, especially with our political climate lately. That is a topic that I have no interest in diving into. If you know, you know. But first things first is the very first change or update is that we are no longer having third-party fact checkers on Instagram. Now, this was a decision that was made by Meta. So Meta is the parent company for Instagram. Other platforms that are under Meta would be Facebook and WhatsApp. And so part of this decision, many people have their own thoughts. I have mine as well. But for today, we won't even bother to go into that. But basically, initially, we had third-party checkers. I believe they outsourced this to third-party companies to do the fact-checking. Their responsibility was to make sure that content, especially when it had to do with news or anything like that, was accurate before misinformation was being spread. However, Mr. Zuck, he decided that we're gonna change that, y'all. We're getting rid of community of fact checkers, third party checkers, and we are going to be doing community notes. So this is a new update. So now the onus is on us, the everyday users of the platforms, to decide if something is false or true or false. And I can't help but feel like this is so, like, it's like deja vu, because didn't X do this the other day where they also did the same thing and they have something very similar? And it's no surprise that with this recent change, another change that has happened as well is they are now loosening up the guidelines of what can be said and not said on the platforms. Now, I would recommend that you will read the article that I'm going to be linking to this episode in particular, because there are certain things that I just cannot say on the podcast. If you want to know more, read that article. But basically, there are certain things that before would have been considered unacceptable because they are discriminatory or whatever the case might be. Those things will now be allowed by people to basically say whatever they want on the social media platform, Instagram. So I have my concerns with this, mainly because we just came out of Black History Month. This was the weirdest Black History Month ever. I won't even lie to you. It was the weirdest Black History Month. And I just feel like when certain changes like this happens, it just makes the platforms less and less safe for people of marginalized communities who already did not feel safe when we want to talk about our experiences or share factual information regarding history or whatever. Like, we're always like targeted for hate speech and whatever. So with this recent change of kind of, you could say, allowing that, making it acceptable, as a Black woman, as a woman of immigrant background, it's like, how safe will this platform be for me now with the content that I make? So I'm keeping an eye out to see how these changes will be affected my particular content. I haven't really seen a lot of trolls on my content lately. However, I am keeping my eye out on that. So those are some of the updates, y'all, regarding, like, you know, little changes that they made here and there. Now, another thing that concerns me with this is, do you guys remember what happened when X decided to make some changes on their platform? Now, when I say X, in case you didn't know, Twitter is no longer named Twitter. It is now called X. Elon Musk changed the name. But do you guys remember what happened when they decided to do certain changes on the platforms? There were brands, a lot of brands, who decided to like stop advertising on the platform. And so part of me is wondering if some changes like this, in terms of when brands feels like a platform isn't brand safe anymore or whatever the case might be, because they don't want their content to be in between, like, you know, very problematic stuff, especially if it's an ad. It kind of makes me wonder if this is going to affect content creators who are creators on the platform. So specifically, if you're an Instagram creator, does this mean that brand deals are going to be less because of these decisions in terms of cutting back on certain like brand partnerships that they might do specifically with creators on these platforms? Who knows? Only time can tell. But I just thought it was important to mention that update, as it might give you some insights for some of the things that we have been seeing lately. Moving on to some other not so heavy changes. Instagram is going to be launching their own editing app. What do you think about that, y'all? It is no secret that they are definitely jumping on the opportunity that they saw with the situation around the clock app TikTok. It's no secret that CapCut is also affiliated with TikTok, and so if one is going to possibly be banned, that means the other one is going to go away as well. That is also still up in the air in terms of the future of TikTok. No one really knows what's going to happen until, I don't remember the exact date specifically for the US. April something is when the actual decision of what happens, because they did get an extension after that ban had happened or whatever. Temporary. I call it a temporary timeout, because let's be honest, that was not a ban. Y'all got a little timeout for reflect on our life a little bit, and then we were back to business as usual. So yeah, they are rolling out a new app. I think it is available for a couple creators so far for them to test it. But when I go into my app store, it just says coming soon. So this app is supposed to be a bit different than other ones. So yes, it will have the general features of allowing you to edit and all of that, but they're kind of taking things a bit further in that they're having a complete creative editing suite. So basically they're having all kinds of editing tools available to creators to use with this mobile editing tool. So it's only available for mobile. I don't believe they will have a desktop version. Also, some features that they're having with it is you can now use the camera. They're going to have a camera on the app, which is supposed to be better quality than your phone camera to help you with making content within the app directly. Some other stuff has to do with, they will have like AI related tools, all of that. So this is definitely something I'm going to keep my eye out on, because I mean, if it is an easier way for me to edit certain videos, I know they're implementing certain features too, like they're gonna have an inspiration tab that if you wanted to get inspo for your next reel, you would also see videos about that. And also they would have in the same place trending audio for you to know what audio is trending at the moment. So it kind of makes the workflow a bit easier. You don't have to be doing all this research. It's already there for you. So yeah. And that is all that I really know about this, but I am going to link an article that I did find that breaks down a bit more the features. And this was an announcement that Mr. Adam, the head of Instagram, he's always making these announcements. And so he talked about it before. And so it's something for us to look out for, sure. Next thing, since we're talking about videos, let's talk about reels. Did y'all know that you can now make reels that are 3 minutes long? Now, I don't mean that you have to go and post it as a post for it to be, because right now how Instagram basically changed that whole confusion of a reel is just a reel and a video is posted as a post. You remember that whole thing? Basically, I believe that they are honestly just competing again with TikTok, in that TikTok has up to 10 minutes that they allow you to make videos. When TikTok just rolled out, they only had 60 minutes, and then they upgraded to up to 3 minutes. And then it was recently that they upgraded to up to 10 minutes long that you can record videos or post videos for. And so this is a recent change that Instagram made as well. At one point, it was only available to US creators. I don't really know what the rollout is like worldwide, but I have seen it available for me because I have personally been using it. There are just some kind of content that I do that it just cannot be packed in 90 seconds, because that was the most length that we had for reels. And so I've been utilizing it for videos like, I do like hauls. Sometimes I do like product reviews, and I do like quick taste tests. I want to be a bit more comprehensive with those videos. And so that's what I've been experimenting using it for. I will say that I have been getting like a little pop-up whenever I would post longer videos, that basically Instagram tells you that with your video being up to 3 minutes long, the reach to non-followers is not going to be as great. So I guess thanks for letting me know, Instagram, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get this content out in a way that makes sense at the time. So for me, sometimes as creators, we just have to make that decision of, does this content fit better and needs more expansion to it, or can it be reduced to 90 seconds? Maybe I could reduce some of those videos in 90 seconds, but I don't want to. I have this feature, I'm going to use it. And maybe sometimes that will affect my content, but I'm here experimenting too to see what I like about the new features with the length and what people are responding to. And I will check my analytics and adjust accordingly. That is all I can say. As a creator, you got to be, willing to experiment and try things and not be afraid to, fail if it doesn't work out. So that's how I live and do things, basically. But since we're talking about experimenting, in addition to 3-minute reels, Instagram also introduced a new thing called trial reels, or reels trials, one of them. I don't know the order of the words, but basically this is a new feature that will allow you to experiment more with your content, where instead of it being pushed out to your current followers, you are being able to test out new content with non-followers. So you get to see how the videos will perform. And if you choose to share it with your audience, there is a setting for you to like change the setting for it to show to everybody. I have been seeing mixed feelings about this, honestly, especially on Threads. Almost every day when I go on that app, I see a lot of people saying they tried it and their video has like 4 views, and it's like, what the heck, 4 views? So it's a bit, I don't know what's going in for that feature, but I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if I'm going to bother to try it. If I want to experiment with something, I'm just gonna post the content and done. But maybe when I feel a bit more less stubborn, I might try it out to just see how it works for me and see if what the general consensus online, if it's actually confirming it based on my personal experience there. We're almost done, y'all. The reason I have so many updates about Instagram is because it's the one that most of us use, and y'all, they be doing the most. Like Instagram, y'all need to take it easy, you know. All of them damn updates, you see, me still depend Instagram, and we into the podcast, maybe more than 10. Yeah, man, more than 10 minutes into the podcast, me still talk about Instagram to All right, moving on. Have you guys noticed that your feed has a new look on Instagram? Yes, my dear. In case you never noticed, instead of your profile grid being square, it is now rectangular. And this also means for all my friends who post who post pictures and carousels, you are going to have to adapt the ratio of those type of content for the rectangle dimension as well. So before, it was 1 by 1 for square, which was the dimension. So that was 1080 by 1080. Now it is, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's 4 by 5. That is the new length when it comes on to like pictures or carousels that you want to make sure that you're following. So all of this information, y'all, link in the description box to sign up for the newsletter if you want like really like updated stuff like this and breakdowns. And in addition to that new feed, Instagram is thinking about, I don't know if it's official. This is the thing, sometimes they'll make announcements or you'll hear things through the grapevine. Nothing is usually confirmed until I hear it from Adam himself. So until Adam come out and say this and this is happening, I don't usually pay it any mind. However, this I want to pay attention to because it does sound like they want to do it. But basically, do you know how we have story highlights, which are, those are the things that are at the very top of your feed, above your feed stuff, right underneath your link in bio stuff and your bio. They are thinking about completely removing the highlights from there and putting them in their own tab on the feed. Now, personally, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's bad enough that we have a separate like tab for reels that I know sometimes people don't even bother to look there. So I personally, whenever I post a reel, I will always post it to my feed as well, in case someone does happen to be scrolling on my feed. They can see a reel that I posted, unless it's a reel that I really don't want to show on my page, then of course. But putting the highlight reel in a place where people have to go seek it out instead of it just being there ready for them, I personally just love when I go on people's feed and I see those rectangle things, and it makes me curious to check out, what is this story highlight about? Let me go check it out. Let me get, some people use it to have highlights for their travels that they did to a place, and they plug maybe, activities you can do. Some people do it for getting people to know more about them, like start here to know about our business or whatever the case might be, or even to sell courses. So I'm curious to see if they will still go through with that decision, because so far I believe the general consensus online has been absolutely not Instagram. This is one change that we are asking you not to give us, because we never asked for this. We never asked for this. I agree. We never asked for this. And lastly, let us talk about the fact that Instagram is offering creators up to $5,000 to basically incentivize them to start posting on Instagram. So let me quickly tell you from the information that I know off the top of my head what this breakthrough bonus fund is all about. So basically, there's a certain requirement for this. They are not really completely telling you if you will be accepted or not, only if you have this requirement. But they have said, and I have this from their website info, you have to have at least 20,000 followers on another social media platform to be prioritized. So basically, you have to post, I think you have to post 20 new reels or something like that within 30 days. Is it that? Hold on. I don't want to lead y'all astray. Let's get into this real quick. All right, boom, right on the phone. We'll have it right here. So to be eligible, you have to be in the US. You have to be 18 years or older. You must be on an existing social media platform. And applicants from creators that have at least 20,000 followers on another app will be prioritized for review. Now, how do you earn through the breakthrough bonus? First, once you're accepted, you can earn up to 5,000 in total. So this is up to during your first 90 days. To earn a monthly breakthrough bonus, you must share at least 20 reels on Facebook and 10 reels on Instagram, and it must be posted natively within each app. So that means you can't use any reposting tools like repurpose.io, which, hey, let me plug a tool I am loving right now. Okay, let's get into the segment. Things I am loving right now. If you're a content creator looking to optimize your workflow, you want to consider using repurpose.io. I personally have been using it mainly for clients, and it has been making my life much easier because once a content is posted, so for example, I have a client who she mostly posts on TikTok on her own, and then I will go through whatever she posts and post relevant things to her Instagram. However, because YouTube doesn't have a way for me to schedule shorts, I am able to use repurpose.io, and I never miss a day of posting for her on on YouTube, because as soon as she posts to TikTok, it will automatically post to her YouTube channel as well. And I have noticed with her using this for like 30 days, we have increased her subscribers. Usually we only would get 50 subscribers a month. The last time I looked, her subscribers were like 200, 300, like in the 2 months that I've been using it for her. So safe to say, experiment, check, results are confirmed. So if you're a creator who would like to utilize a tool like this to help to optimize your own content strategy, helping you to be more active on other platforms without having to do everything manually, consider using repurpose.io. Click the link in the show notes or in the description box below. So where were we? Yes, we were talking about the Facebook breakthrough bonus. So where I left off was that you have to share at least 20 reels on Facebook and 10 reels on Instagram that needs to be posted natively within the app within a 30-day bonus period. And also, you have to share the content on at least 10 separate days within the 30-day bonus period as well. And lastly, the videos you share on Facebook and Instagram must be original content. So that means that for all of you who already have content on TikTok and you're thinking you can just repost them over to Instagram and Facebook, Instagram is literally paying you to make new content for this up to $5,000 bonus that they are giving. So I'm curious to know, I don't know if I have any US listeners here, but will you consider doing this? And if you're a Canadian creator and this was available to us here in Canada, would you consider doing this? Let me know in the comment section if you're listening to this on YouTube, and I will have it as a poll question on Spotify. Would love to hear your feedback and your comments on this. Oh, all right, y'all. We have officially finished up with the updates about Instagram. Oh my gosh, what a mouthful. We are going to move on to YouTube because YouTube is actually a platform that I am personally trying to get back on and be more active. It is literally the platform I started on and, got a feel of what it was like to be a content creator. eventually over time, I feel like when I was trying to keep up with the other social media platforms and growing my audience there, it made it very easy to neglect it. Because when you start doing long form content and then you go switch over to short form, and to get back into that groove, it can be so hard, y'all. So I have been dedicating to posting at least one video a month on YouTube. I used to post every single week. However, I want to be like more aware of my schedule, the different things I'm doing, and also posting quality videos on YouTube, because it's not always about quantity, but it also is about quality. So if I can maybe keep that consistency of at least once a month I can post a video, I think that would be a great way for me to help me get my momentum back again. So yeah, YouTube features that you should definitely know about. This is actually something they announced last year at their Made on YouTube event. So I don't know how it works for events like this. I think it's an invite only type of event. So for events like this, I believe it's usually invite only. So creators were often invited to these. They are very active on YouTube. They have a community. They're known on the YouTube community. And so this is some of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you is what I found from, it was Colin and Samir, and there's also this other content creator in the UK. Her name is Jade Beeson. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. So here are a couple features that you should definitely look out for and consider using once they become available to you. First things first, remember how I said all of these platforms are competing with their one another for our attention? YouTube has literally introduced 3-minute shorts now. Now, I'm not mad at it, because I'm telling y'all, when I started making longer videos on Instagram, especially when I just didn't care anymore, I was like, damn, I can't even be active on YouTube like that, because all of my videos are over a minute now. Since they introduced this, I'm like, yes. Thank you, Jesus. So I am a happy camper for that. Not sure if everyone has gotten it as yet, but it did start rolling out last year. And so I think by now everyone should have it. But here are some other features. So they have an AI integration with Veo. So Veo is a Google DeepMind like generator video generation tool, and basically they are allowing creators to have like realistic backgrounds for their green screen videos. And so I have not seen this on my own, available to me, but I've heard of other people who have been using it, and it basically just allows them to have a green screen, like they can play around with virtual backgrounds and different things like that for their videos, where they don't have to use like an actual green screen, then has to go to through the complication of editing videos and stuff like that. So that's the first thing. So definitely everyone is utilizing AI more, as we can see. There's this other thing called the inspiration tab. So basically they are revamping their generative AI to assist creators with brainstorming. And what it does is, if you go to your analytics section, there should be a tab that says inspiration, and you're able to get personalized suggestions for like a script outline. Sometimes they'll give you for thumbnail content, or thumbnail ideas, sorry, and also like titles for your video. I haven't seen it on my page, but for some of my clients that I manage, I have seen it for them. And so, yeah, I've seen it come in handy a lot of time, especially when you just don't have the brain capacity at that time to be thinking up ideas. It's a great tool for that. And two more features I'll talk about, actually. YouTube's community. So we already know that we have the YouTube tab that basically allows us to keep in touch with our audience, but they can't really interact with us. They can only reply via comments on a video that we probably share on the community tab, or pictures that we share. But with this communities area, YouTube is giving us the ability to actually interact with our subscribers. So they can post pictures, they can post videos. We have a space that we can talk with each other, which is pretty cool. So those who have a lot of like, subscribers who are very, like, if they have super niche content, I can see this doing very, very well for them. I personally want to try it out and see how it works, especially for my content regarding like Creole languages and things like that. Auto dubbing, y'all. Do you know that Mr. Beast has over the years paid a lot of money to actually get not auto dubbing, but dubbing done for his videos. So I don't know if you all know, but he has like a Mr. Beast channel in Spanish. He has one in, I think, French. I'm not 100% sure, but that is part of what has actually allowed him to have so much generating of revenue, because he has different YouTube channels where he basically takes his English videos, he just gets it dubbed, and he has channels specifically in those languages. Based on his demographic, it showed him that he had fans in these countries, so he was like something that he invested in. But now YouTube has now rolled out auto dubbing. I have seen this on a couple people's video, and I think I've seen it on my own back end as well, where you can now allow it to automatically generate your content in different languages for you, which is really cool. I'm not 100% sure what languages exactly, but that is a cool feature to know about. So definitely look out for that. And last but not least, let us talk about how YouTube is kind of like the new Netflix now. And why I say that is because over time, a lot of people have been complaining about Netflix continuously, increasing the fees for their subscriptions, but then they don't have as much content on there, all the different things, right? And so a lot of creators have been making more and more high quality content, and I've personally been considering if I should invest in doing more high production content, especially food related series on my YouTube channel, instead of trying to get into traditional media, because it's just too much to deal with, too much red tape, and then people today are actively watching YouTube on their TV screen. I found that I have been doing that myself. There is this YouTuber, or creator I should say, called Drewski, and it's so stupid like what he does sometimes, but it's comedy. He had this dating show he did the other day called Could Have Been Love, and like clockwork, every week, I kid you not, me and my husband would watch it on our TV in the room. And it's basically acknowledging from YouTube, it has acknowledged the growing trend in TV based viewing. And so now they're allowing creators to even like organize their content according to like seasons and episodes. So the whole thing will actually look like how like Netflix looks when you're looking at episode 1 season. You know what I mean? Like they're doing the whole thing. And so that is smart of them, because they did find in their research that more people were watching YouTube on TV. I think it surpassed like the viewership for Netflix is what the research had found. So that is everything in terms of updates for YouTube, y'all. We are going to wrap this up to talk about Snapchat. Now for Snapchat, the reason I wanted to end off with Snapchat is because another topic I want to talk about eventually is monetization and the different ways that I personally am looking to monetize as a content creator. But Snapchat rolled out their new monetization program that I think everyone should know about, because if you have a chance to be one of those new people who can pop off on a new social media platform, by all means, why not? So here are the requirements. I'm not gonna lie though, it's kind of steep. I was reading some of these and I'm like, Snapchat, be for real. Like, come on now. Like, who is this actually for? Are you trying to help out small creators, or this is for people who already have big following? Like, let us share the opportunities now, man. What happened to the little guy, eh? What happened to the underdog content creators? We not deserve little love too? Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. So as part of their monetization program, they have these following requirements. So you have to have at least 50,000 followers on Snapchat. All right, moving on. And you have to achieve one of the following in the last 28 days. So these are the requirements just for you to be eligible for the monetization program. Either 10 million Snap views, 1 million Spotlight views, or 12,000 hours of view time. Those are the 3 options you have that you need to meet the criteria, along with having at least 50,000 followers. And in addition to that, you have to post at least 25 times per month to save stories or spotlight. So basically, stories is like if you're posting a regular story, that story. And then you have spotlight. There's like two different tabs that you can see if you go on someone's Snapchat account. The best way to understand how this works, y'all, is to just go on Snapchat, look for a content creator that you probably know. Like, I know for the longest, that's where DDG and Halle Bailey were posting on a lot. And that's where people were getting a lot of the behind the scenes with their life, because Snapchat was paying them big money. It makes sense now. All right. When people do things, pay attention to why they're doing it, because people are not just we're not posting on Snapchat just for the fun of it. I was thinking like, oh, Snapchat making a comeback. Why is everybody on Snapchat? This is why they were paying, and I heard that they pay really well. And lastly, for consistency, post to either your spotlight or public stories on at least 10 of the last 28 days. So basically, you have to be active is what they're pretty much saying, and that's the minimum requirement. And of course, you have to be 18 years old. And there are some other requirements, such as the countries you have to be in to be eligible. I know that Canada is one of them. And so if you are someone who's looking to see if your country is eligible for this opportunity, again, all of the resources that I'm sharing for today's episode is going to be in the show notes, so you can go ahead and find that information. But you probably are wondering, well, how does it work for creators getting paid on Snapchat? Well, how it works is that they are sharing it via revenue. So similar to what YouTube has done, that is how people were getting paid on YouTube. It's through AdSense. That is how we were getting paid. And so with Snapchat, basically they will post ads in between your snaps or your spotlight content. And then basically based on the type of views you get, you're able to cash out a minimum of $100 daily. Okay? I'm going to leave it right there, y'all. I'm going to leave it right there, because this was a lot. This was a lot that we discussed today, y'all. Which brings us to our question of the day. So let us go into the creator's mailbox segment. Hey. All right, y'all. So for this week's question, social media changes so fast. What's the best way to stay updated without feeling overwhelmed? Now, first thing I'll say is definitely it's a lot to keep up with. There's too much going on sometimes. There are a lot of, features rolling out, all of that. The first thing I would say is that I would focus on platforms that I'm actually using that matter to my content and my audience, and be aware of what those changes are. So if I know right now I'm not super active on Pinterest, I'm not going to be worrying about every single little update that Pinterest has. However, if I'm on Instagram, I'm going to be keeping my ear to the ground of the new features in case it matters to what I am doing. If I have content and new strategy I want to do, knowing about these changes can help me with my content strategy moving forward. Secondly, I rely on trusted sources that have updates for these information. So when it comes on to longer form content where they really dive into explaining what these updates mean and things like that, there are a few YouTube channels I watch, but the one that I watch the most for this is the YouTuber that I mentioned earlier, Jade Beeson. She is in the UK. Also Colin and Samir. You can check them out as well, because they usually do updates like this as well. And I also work in the social media, like landscape full time. It's what I do. And I work with digital marketing agencies every single day. And part of what I love to do is just being subscribed to newsletters that are always keeping you updated with changes. So a couple of them would be like Social Media Today. There is a Social Media Examiner. And I also will just follow relevant pages by the social media platforms, because they sometimes have specific pages that are dedicated to telling us those updates. So if you're on Instagram, follow Adam, the head of Instagram, because he's always doing updates, as well as the creators Instagram page. That's what it's called, @creators on Instagram. Again, all that information I'm gonna put in the show notes. All right. And then lastly, I just basically remind myself that not every single thing requires an action immediately. And so again, it's all about just being informed so I know how it will maybe affect my strategy for maybe I have a series that I want to do. What does that mean if Instagram decides to increase the amount of views? Does that mean I can make the series longer per episode, or does it mean that I should just stay within whatever length that I was using originally, because it might mean that the video will not have as much reach because Instagram told me that the longer the video, the less the reach is for non-followers. So little stuff like that, it just helps to be aware. And with that, that is a wrap for this week's episode, y'all. I did a lot of yapping today. Cheese and peas, my mouth tired. But it was necessary, y'all. We are basically ending off Q1, you know? You might have had a lot of goals for the year that you didn't get to. It's time to get cracking, y'all. Q2 is coming up. Don't let the time pass you by. You have goals that you want to accomplish. Let's see how we can get them done. You know, I'm going to start plugging myself. Shameless plug for myself. I do offer one-on-one consultations for content creators, up and coming content creators. If you are looking for advice, maybe you're looking for some accountability, there are certain goals that you have, certain things you want to do, I am going to put the link to my booking link that you can book a session with me for either 30 minutes or an hour. Whichever one works for you, I am here to answer questions specific to you or to help you with a certain strategy that you're probably looking towards doing, but you're probably wanting to bounce it off someone and get their insights and just advice and cheerleader. I'm here to cheer everybody on who's in this thing called content creation, because it ain't easy what we are doing. Thank y'all for listening to this episode. I appreciate y'all. And if you have not rated the podcast yet, we are on season 2, y'all. Okay? It's hard out here doing stuff like this. So if you liked the podcast, please leave a review. Let me know what you thought. If you can only review on Apple, you can't actually, I think you can leave a comment. Yes, you can rate me with words on Apple. If you're on Spotify, you can just, leave a star review. Let me know your thoughts. And if you're on YouTube, how did you find this episode? Do you like episodes like this where we dive more into explaining features, how they work, keeping up to date with them? I want to know how y'all feel about videos or episodes like this, because they can be a bit more on the lengthy side, but they're necessary, as I said. So until next time, y'all, see you in another episode. Bye.